Yeah, am I audible? Yeah, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hello, welcome to the video lecture series on digital image processing that we'll be discussing today. That is a global processing approach, which is also called Hub Transform. So, after today's lecture, the students will be able to explain implement the local processing technique for today's lecture. The people are able to explain the local processing technique for linking the edge point and also the global processing technique. That is, the students will be implement the hub transform to link the edge point. Oh, 1 second, I think. Yeah, that we have completed this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for the first few lecture, we are discussing about image segmentation operations and image analysis operation. So in our last class, we have talked about the discontinuity based image segmentation. We have seen earlier, or we have discussed earlier that are mainly two approaches of image segmentation. One is the discontinuity based segmentation, and the other one is a similarity based segmentation. For the last two classes, we have talked about the discontinuity based segmentation, and in discontinuity based segmentation, we have seen that the segmentation is done using the characteristics of variations of intensity values, right? When there is a variations of intensity from say background to a foreground object, so under this we have seen various point and the line and edge based operations which are used in the segmentation process. Here, the basic purpose was that an object is to be described by its boundary and its enclosing boundary, which are to be obtained using one of this discontinuity based operation. And we have discussed that although we want what the object boundary should be continuous or it should have a complete definition, but because of noisy or maybe because of non-uniform illumination, after performing these different edge detection operation, they are not normally continuous. So if we find that within a neighborhood, two edge point have the similar edge strength and also they have similar edge direction, in that case, those 2 points are linked together to be a part of same edge. Now here again the problem is that if the points are not the same neighborhood, which is defined but the points are at a larger distance, in that case this local edge link operation does not help. So in such cases, what we have to go for is the global edge linking operation. So we have discussed a technique that is hub transform. So using hub transform, we have been able to link the distinct edge point, and this is an operation called global edge link operation, or it is the global processing technique. Now today we will start our discussion on the other type of segmentation, which is the similarity based segmentation. So under similarity based segmentation, there are mainly three approaches. One is called thresholding technique, and the second approach is called region growing technique, and the third one is called the region split or merge technique. Under threshold technique, again, we have four different type of thresholdings. One is called global thresholding, other type is called dynamic or adaptive thresholding, there is something called optimal thresholding, and there is also a thresholding operation which is called local thresholding. So we will discuss about these different region based segmentation operation, either thresholding or region growing, and the region splitting and merging thresholding one after the another. Now let us first start our discussion with the thresholding technique. So first we will discuss about the threshold technique for segmentation. Now thresholding is one of the simplest approach of segmentation. Suppose we have an image, and as we have said earlier that image is described by or represented by two-dimensional function f of x comma y, and let us assume that this image contains dark object against a light background. So in such cases, if there is a dark object against a light background, or even if it is a reversed, that we have a light object against a dark background, then you will find that the intensity value, they are mainly concentrated near two regions, or we call them two modes. One of the region will be towards the darker side or towards the lower intensity value, and other mode will be towards the brighter side or towards the higher intensity value, right? So if you plot the histogram of such an image, here we assume that we have two objects, and let us assume that the object is brighter and the background is darker. So if you plot the histogram of such an image, the histogram will appear something like this. So on this side, we put say intensity value Z, and this side say is our histogram of Z. So as we said that because we having one object and we are assuming that the object is bright, which is placed against dark object. So the intensity value will try to be accumulated, will the histogram will give rise to like bimodal histogram, where the intensity will be concentrated on dark side as well as the brighter side. So for such a bimodal histogram, you find that there are two peaks, one peak here and another peak is here. These two models or these two peaks are separated by deep valley. So this is the valley, and this is one peak, and this is another peak. And as we have assumed that our object is bright and the background is dark, so all these pixels which are grouped in the lower intensity region, this pixels belongs to background, and other groups of pixels, they belongs to the object. Now the simplest form of segmentation is if we choose a threshold value say t in this valley region, and we take a decision that if a pixel at location x comma y or have the intensity value function of x comma y greater than the threshold value, that is t, then we say this pixel belongs to object. Whereas if function of x comma y is less than or equal to t, then this pixel belongs to the background. So this is our simple decision rule which is to be used for thresholding purpose. So what we have to do is we have to choose a threshold in the valley region and then check the image. The segmentation is simply testing each and every pixel to check whether it is intensity value less than the threshold or the intensity value is greater than the threshold. So if the intensity value is greater than the threshold, then we will say that it belongs to the pixel belongs to an object. Whereas if the intensity value is less than or equal to the threshold, then we say that the pixel belongs to the background, right? Now the situation can be even more general. That is, instead of having bimodal histogram, we can have multimodal histograms. That is, a histogram can even be of this form like this. So this is our pixel intensity Z, and of this side is the histogram. So here you find that the histogram has three different modes which are separated by two different valleys. So now what we can do is we can choose one threshold, say T1 in the first valley region, and other threshold, say T2 in the second valley region, right? So what this histogram indicates is that there are three different region or three different intensity region which are separated by some other intensity band. Okay, and those three different intensity regions are represented or gives rise to these three different peaks in the histogram. So here our discussion rule can be something like this, that if we find that the intensity value f of x comma y at a pixel location x of y comma x of sorry location x y is greater than the threshold t2, then we say that the point x comma y belongs to, say, origin or object O2. So all the intensity value, all the pixel having intensity value greater than T2. These pixels, we will say that they belongs to object O2. In other case, if the pixel has an intensity value in this region that is greater than T1 and less than T2, then we will say that this particular region belongs to the object O1. So our discussion rule will be that the function f of x comma y is lies between the t1 and t2. Then this indicates that the corresponding pixel x comma y, it belongs to the object o1. And obviously the third condition will be that if function f of x comma y, the intensity value at the location x comma y is less than a threshold t1, in that case we say that the corresponding pixel x comma y, it belongs to the background. So even in case we can have histogram which are even, which will have even more peaks, more than 3 peaks, such case also similar such classifications is possible. But what we have to do for this threshold based segmentation technique is that we have to choose proper thresholding values. Now, these threshold values or the threshold operation can be considered as an operation that involves testing against a function t, where this function t is of the form t is equals to p of x comma y comma p of x comma y comma f of x comma y. So this threshold operation that we are doing is we are considering, or this can be viewed as an operation to test image pixels against a function t, where this function t is of the form, this function t is of the function of x comma y, which is nothing but the pixel location in the image, and f of x comma y, which is nothing but the intensity value at location x comma y. So this is pixel intensity location x comma y, and p of x comma y, it is the same local neighborhood property, but some local property is a neighbor centered at x comma y. So in general, this threshold t is a function, can be function of pixel location, the pixel value as well as the local property within the neighborhood around a pixel location. So any combination of these three, that is pixel location, pixel value and neighbor property, neighborhood property, this neighborhood property can even the average intensity value within the neighborhood around pixel x comma y. So any combination of this t can be function of any combinations of these three terms, and depending upon this combination, this t can be either a global threshold or a local threshold or it can even be a adaptive threshold. So in this case, t is the threshold t is value function of f of x comma y. We say that the threshold is a global threshold, whereas if t is a function of f of x comma y and the local property, that is p of x comma y, then we say that the threshold t is a local threshold. And if in the addition to all these t is also a function of the local of the pixel, and the f of x comma y as well as the p of x comma y, then we say that this threshold t is an adaptive or dynamic threshold. Okay, now the threshold t can be either global or local or adaptive, and we get g of x comma y is equals to 0 if f of x comma y is less than or equal to t. So you find that the basic aim of this threshold operation is we want to create a threshold image g of x comma y, which will be a binary image containing pixel value either 0 or 1, and this value will be set to 0 and 1 depending upon a whether intensity f of x comma y is at location x of x comma y is greater than the t, or it can be less than or equal to the t. So here again indicating that the threshold image, a pixel location having an intensity value of 1, that indicates the corresponding pixel belong to the object. And in such cases, we will put g of x comma y is equal to 0 if function f of x comma y is greater than t, again indicating that the pixel in the threshold image g of x comma y is equal to 0, the corresponding pixel is background pixel. Now the question is how to choose this threshold value. Now for that, let us come to the case again considering the histogram. We have said that if any histogram is a bimodal histogram of this form, then what I can do is by looking at the histogram, so this is our intensity value z, and on this we have h of z. By inspecting this histogram, we can choose a threshold in this deep valley region, and using this threshold I can go for the segmentation operation. Now by doing this, I will show you one particular result. Say for example, in this particular case here, you find that we have an image where the object are dark, where the background is bright. So naturally in this case, I will have a histogram where the histogram will be bimodal histogram. So the nature of the histogram will be like this. So this will be bimodal histogram. So here, if I choose the threshold t in this region and using this threshold, I segment this image, then the image, the kind of segmentation that we get is as given here. So here you find in this second image, in the segmented image, that your background and object region have been clearly separated. Even the shadow which is present in the original image, that has been removed in the segmented image. Now let's come to the automatic thresholding. So this operation can be done by using an iterative procedure. So automatic thresholding, so here again for detecting this threshold automatically, what we can do is we can first choose an initial value of threshold. So arbitrarily or by somehow we can choose an initial value of threshold, and using this initial value of threshold, what we can do is we can have a segment of the image. So when we segment the image using this initial value of threshold, the segment operation basically we will partition our segment histogram into two partition, or the image will be divided into two groups of pixels. So we can say that one group of pixels we turn them as group 1, and other group of pixel we turn them as group 2. So the pixel intensity value in group 1 will be similar, and the pixel intensity value in group 2 will be similar, but these two groups will be different. Both the groups are having some similar intensity values, but both the group intensity values are totally different. Now, once I segment or separate the portion of the image intensity into these groups G1 and G2, the next step that what we will do is you compute the mean or the average intensity value mu1 for group 1 and the average intensity value mu2 for group of pixels G2. So once I get this mu1 and mu2, that is the average intensity value in the group of pixels G1 and also the average intensity value for group pixels G2, then the fourth steps that I can do is I choose new threshold T, which is T is equals to mu1 plus mu2 divided by 2. And after doing this, you go back to step to 2 and perform the operation thresholding operation once again. So thereby these groups G1 and G2 will be modified, and I repeat this process, that is threshold, to grouping them out the intensity average into two groups. Recalculating the threshold, this entire process will be repeated unless I find that the variation in two successive iteration in the computed value of T is less than some pre-specified value. Then go on modifying this threshold value iteratively. Finally, you converge, uh, like you come to a situation where you will find that two subsequent iteration the value of threshold does not change much, and that portion, whatever the threshold image that you have got, that is your final threshold value. So using this kind of adaptive thresholding, the kind of result that can be obtained is something like this. So here you find that this is one input image, and you can identify this, that this is fingerprint image. This is the histogram of that particular image. So obviously in this form, this histogram also I can choose a threshold here. But this thresholded output that has been obtained is not by choosing the threshold from the histogram, but this is a automatic threshold selection process. This will be doing in the iterative process. So the kind of thresholding operation that we have done in this particular case is called a global thresholding operation. Now find that in this particular case, this global thresholding will give you very good result if the intensity or the illumination of the scene is uniform. But there may be a case where the scene illumination is not uniform, and in case of such non-uniform illumination, getting a global threshold which will be applicable over the entire image is very difficult. So let us take one particular example in this particular case. On the top, we have an image, and you can easily find out what for this image is. I plot the histogram. The histogram will be as shown on the right hand side clearly. This histogram is a bimodal histogram, and there is a valley in between the two modes. So these two modes are separated by a deep valley. So obviously for such a kind of histogram, I can always choose a threshold inside the valley and segment this image successfully. So This simple kind of histogram operation or global thresholding operation is likely to fail in this particular case. So what should we do for segmenting the kind of image using threshold operation? Now, one approach is you subdivide the image into a number of smaller sub-images, assuming that in each of this sub-image, the intensity will be more or less uniform, or the illumination is more or less uniform. Then for each of sub-image, we can find out a threshold value. And using this threshold value, you can threshold the sub image, and then the combination of them or the uniform of them will give you the final thresholded output. So let us see what you get in this case. As we said that for this kind of image where the illumination is non-uniform, if I apply a single global threshold, then the kind of output, the thresholded output that we are going to get is something like this. So here you find that the threshold has failed measurably. Whereas if I subdivide this image into number of sub image as given on this left hand bottom, and then for each of this sub image I identify the threshold, and using that thresholding you go for segmenting that particular sub image, and the thresholded output that you get is given on this right hand side. Here you can find that expecting these two rest of the sub images have been modified properly, so at least your result is better than what you get with a global threshold operation. So now because you are going for a threshold selection of a threshold which is position dependent, because every sub image has a particular position. So now because this threshold selection is position dependent, it becomes adaptive threshold operation. So let us try to analyze what, or maybe why, this adaptive threshold has been successful for these two sub regions. So if I took at the nature of the image, here if you look at this spot image, you find that in this top image, here is a boundary, okay, where this small portion belongs to a background and this large portion of image belongs to a object. Now if I plot the histogram of this, the histogram will be something like this, because the number of pixels in the background is very small. So the contribution of those pixels to the histogram that is within this region is almost negligible. So instead of becoming a bimodal histogram, the histogram is dominated by a single peak, and that is the reason why this histogram operation has not given good result for this particular subdivision. So how to solve this problem? Again, our solution approach is same. You subdivide the image into smaller subdivision. So you go for subdividing further, and for each of those similar subdivision, you can try to find out the threshold and segment each of the subdivision, which each of the subdivision using this particular threshold. So if I do that, you find that the kind of result that we get is here, and here is the segmented output in a quite satisfactory. Now in all these threshold, whether it is a global thresholding or adaptive thresholding that we have discussed so far, none of this case have talked about the accuracy of the thresholding, or how accurate, or what is the error that has been involved, that is by this thresholding process. This is optimal thresholding. So here we can go for a kind of thresholding by making use of some statistical property of the image where the mean error of the threshold operation will be minimum. So what is a kind of thresholding operation which is called optimal thresholding? So what is this optimal thresholding? Again, let us assume that the image containing two principal gray level intensity region. One intensity region corresponds to the object and the other intensity region corresponds to the background. And we use a variable and we assume that these intensity variable can be modeled as a random variable, and this random variable is separated by a variable, say z. Now once we represent the random variable by this z, then the histogram of this particular image or the normalized histogram can be viewed as a probability density function of this random variable z. So the normalized histogram can be viewed as a probability density function p of z of this random variable z. Now, as we have assumed that the image containing two major region, two domain intensity value. So P1 of Z1 indicates the probability distribution function. The probability density function of the intensity of pixels, which belongs to say background of P2 of Z, is the probability density function of the pixel intensity value, which belongs to the says object. Now, this overall histogram, that is P of Z, can now be represented as the combinations of P1 of Z and P2 of Z. So this overall P of Z, we can write it as P of Z is equals to P1, P1 of Z and P2, P2 of Z, where this capital P1 indicates the probability that a pixel will belongs to the background, and P2 indicates that indicates the probability that pixels belongs to the object. So obviously this P1 plus P2 is equals to 1. So these are the pixel probability which belongs to either foreground or background. So here our assumption is that we have a bright pixel against a dark background, because we are saying that the P1, it is the probability that a pixel belongs to the background, and P2 is the probability that a pixel belongs to the foreground of the object. So now, what is our main aim in this particular case? Our aim is that we want to determine a threshold T, which will be minimize the average segmentation error. So now we find that since this overall probability is modeled as a combinations of two different probability, so it is something like this. I can say that I have one probability distribution function which is given by this, and the other probability distribution function, say it is given by this, so that my overall probability distribution function of this form. Understood? So now this is my overall probability distribution function. So this blue color, this indicates P2 of Z, and the pink color, this indicates P1 of Z, and the yellow color indicates my overall probability density function, that is P of Z. Okay. So in this particular case, if I choose a threshold T somewhere here, so this is my threshold T, and I say that if f of x comma y is greater than T, then x comma y belongs to the object. Okay. Now, here you find that we are taking a third decision. If f of x comma y is greater than T, then x comma y belongs to object, but the pixel with intensity value f of x comma y also has a finite probability. Say given by this, it may belongs to the background. So while taking this decision, we are incorporating some error. The error is the area given by this probability curve for the region intensity value greater than T. that is the background point may be classified as an object point. So the error that you encounter is that the particular case is given by say e1 of t, because this error is a threshold t depend. So we can write it as e1 of t is equals to integration rise from minus infinity to t p2 of z and z. So what is this? This is a probability that this is the error incorporate that an object pixel may be classified as a background pixel. Similarly, if the background pixel is classified as an object picture, so the E2 will be from T to infinity, P1 of Z into Z. So this gives you the two error value. One of them gives the error that you encounter if you classify a background pixel as an object pixel, and the other one if you segment object pixels as a background pixel. So from these two error expression, the overall error probability can now be represented as E of t is equals to P2 into E1 of t plus P1 into E2 of t. So you find that this E2 of t was the probability. It was the error of classifying a background pixel as a foreground pixel, and E1 of t was the error of classifying an object pixel as a background pixel, and P1 is the probability that a pixel belongs to the background, and P2 is the probability that a pixel belongs to the object. So the overall probability of error will be given by this expression E of t is equals to P2 E1 of t plus P1 E2 of t. Now for minimizing of this error, what we have to do is we have to take care the derivative of dou E by dou t and equate this is to 0. So whatever is the value of t that you get, that what is going to give you minimum error. So if I put this restriction, then this above expression, we are not going to the details of mathematical derivation. I will just give you the final result that can be given by P1 of t is equals to P2 of t. Okay, so we are going to get an expression of this form, and the solution of this equation gives the value of t. So if we try to solve this, you find that what I need is the knowledge of this probability distribution function P1 of t and P2 of t. So as we know that in the most of the cases, we normally assume the Gaussian distribution function, it's the Gaussian probability density function. So if I assume the Gaussian probability density function, in this case, the overall probability P of Z is represented by what is as shown there. P of Z is equal to P1 divided by square root of 2 pi rho 1 e to the power of what I said is minus z mu 1 square divided by 2 rho 1 square. These are all some equation I wrote. This is all the modified equation where mu1 is the, you can see properly, I can expand this. Yeah, here the mu1 is the average intensity value and the background region, and mu2 is the average intensity value of the object region, and rho 1 and rho 2 are the standard deviation of the intensity value in the background region and the intensity value in the object region. So by assuming this Gaussian probability density function, we get the overall probability density function as given by this expression. And by assuming this, and then from this particular expression, the value of t can now be found out as the solution of t is given by the solution of the particular equation at square plus bt plus c is equals to 0, where this a is equals to rho 1 square minus rho 2 square B is equal to 2 into mu1 rho 2 square minus mu2 rho 1 square, and C is equals to rho 1 square mu2 minus rho 2 square mu1 plus 2 rho 1 square rho 2 square natural logarithm of rho 2 p1 by rho 1 p2. And here we assume that the rho 1 square is equals to rho 2 square is equals to say rho 2 square. Then the value of the threshold t becomes out to be t is equals to mu1 plus mu2 divided by 2 plus rho square divided by mu1 minus mu2 natural logarithmic of p2 by p1. So this is a simple expression for the value of the threshold that you can obtain in this optimal threshold operation. And this is the optimal in the sense that this value of threshold gives you minimum average error. And here again you find that if the probability the p1 and p2 are the same, in that case the value of t will be simply t is equals to mu1 plus mu2 by 2 and gives the mean of the average intensity and the foreground region and the background region. Okay, so as we said that by estimating a threshold by this process, if we segment the image, then the average error of the segmentation will be minimum. That is, minimum number of background pixel will be classified as a object pixels, and the minimum number of object to picture will be classified as a background picture. So let us see the example that why this optimal threshold can be good for us for the good result. Let us take a very complicated case like this. This is the cardio in which the purpose is to detect the boundaries. Okay. You find that the image that is given here is very, very complex, and through we can somehow figure out that what is a boundary somewhere here, but it is not very clear. So the approach that was taken in this image was divided into number of sub image. For every sub image, the threshold was estimated, the optimal threshold was estimated, and then thresholding was done. So for this optimal thresholding, what was done is for each of the sub image, say for example, this was divided into number of sub image like this. For each of sub image that was computed in the histogram, and the histogram was computed for those sub images which shows the bimodal histogram like this. Whereas you find that if I take a sub image where this normally shown as unilevel histogram, which is given here. So using this thresholding image was obtained the boundary of such threshold image. When superimposed on this particular image, you find that this one shows the boundary of the thresholded image. So as was estimated that this was the estimated boundary, and the boundary point are quite well estimated in this particular case. So with this, we stop this particular lecture on the threshold operation. Thank you. Actually, here I have taken so many real examples. I think these are all not there in your book. I have searched somewhere in the internet to make the concept more understandable. I have used some of these techniques. See, as I told you before that I have done till now, when the class was there, two modules was directly completed, and I given the last module as the presentation module for you all. That means that is also completed. So in the first week only I